Maybe I should the last one the other month and ask it there. That was good. Looking like, who else am I missing?
Please.
What's that? Oh, that's a long time? Long time.
Well, yeah, it's like a couple, 1 or 2 ahead, but. Yeah, it's pretty close. Did I say a minute?
What did I say?
It was 2 minutes and now it's sped up.
Chris called you for what you need.
Oh, that's the best way to be.
Ray, were you good at changing your mind? Yeah. Well, that's right, Chris isn't going to be there now. So yeah, I'm going. What's up? Never put that. I'm going with my breakfast. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I thought I saw Dennis. Is he in here? Dennis, would you like to say a prayer about this?
I'd love to. Thanks for the invitation.
Sure.
And can I share before I pray that this is Police Memorial Week?
Yes, you can.
So I would like to incorporate that into my prayer.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, I come to you this evening, and Lord, it's just so hard to think about the officers who have given and lost their lives this year, and at other times, Father, but a specific time to remember those who protect us, those who help us, those who do good things for our community, those who serve and protect. And Father, I pray that you would remember the families of those who have lost their lives. Remember the friends and fellow officers. Father, it is hard in these days to be a defender of law and order and justice and kindness. Lord, you know and you understand, for they hated you for doing good, even though you were perfect and did only kindness and good. You were hated. And yet, Lord, there's a spirit about this day and time that is bitter and resists what is good for all. And Father, I just pray that you would bless our police officers who never know and yet come, who stand and defend and protect. Even in our worst times, even when we are angry people or having problems or troubles, they come. And Father, I ask for great grace. Father, I also pray for this council and for the leaders of our city. Lord, that you would bless them with wisdom to do good things for this community, to do the right things for the community. I pray that you would bless them and encourage them to stand up for justice, kindness, and community. Lord, now I pray that you would have your will and your way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thanks for letting me pray.
Very nice. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Hazlett? Mr. Zollner? Mayor Brown?
Here.
Mr. Ashworth?
Here.
Mr. Leatherland?
Here. Approval of minutes from the prior meeting.
I move to approve the minutes for our meeting.
I second. Vote.
Mr. Ashworth?
Yes.
Mr. Leatherland?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. There is no public comment this evening. Administrator's report, right?
All right. Really getting into the event season now. We've got things going on. So this weekend, actually starting tomorrow and through 19th, 20th, and 21st and 22nd, we'll have the presentation of the Steel Magnolias down at the Butte Theater. That's local people doing the acting and directing. And then we'll start later in the summer with the professional actors. And then, is this the fourth year for the rodeo?
Fifth year, the first year wasn't a sanctioned rodeo.
Okay. So do we call it the fourth annual or the fifth annual?
The fourth annual sanctioned rodeo.
Fourth annual sanctioned.
CPRA sanctioned rodeo.
Yeah, fourth annual sanctioned top of the world Cripple Creek Rodeo. Sounds good. And that'll be June 10th, 11th, and 12th. And I tell you what, it has really gotten good over the years. And then also in June, we'll have the 21st annual Once Upon a Time in the West Art Show. And that will start June 24th and then go through July 4th. And then we'll have the 85th annual Donkey Derby Days. And that'll be June 25th and 26th. If you haven't seen our little buddies running around town, you'll see signs of them. Be prepared. And then, I mentioned last meeting that we were going to try to have the Timberline Fishing Club on the agenda this time, and no one from the fishing club was available, so we'll get them on there as soon as we can. They're thinking it might be July when they can get up here, but anyway. And then, let's see, what else? Oh, the World's Greatest Go Camp Business Mixer, the one that we have every other month. The next one will be next week on Tuesday, May 24th. From 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. It's hosted by the Ag and Mining Museum in Victor. Thank you, Milford, for hosting that. And then the Gold Camp Connector Show will be leaving Cripple Creek at 5:15 and take those who want to ride over with me. I seem like I'm the only one who takes advantage of that. And then it'll return at the conclusion of the event at 7:30. I believe, and we can find out for sure, but I believe it'll be picking people up at the Aspen Mine Center. I think that's typically where it picks people up. But
That's
okay.
a pickup.
And then tomorrow morning, I'll be attending a community breakfast that's sponsored by the Cripple Creek and Victor Gold Mining Company. It's going to be down at Bronco Billy's in the new, what do they call that, banquet room? Pioneer Room, yeah. And that's tomorrow morning from 8 to 9:30. This will be the first one of those that they've held. And so I don't know, what kind of information, but I've got a couple questions for them, but I'm sure it's just kind of information from them, probably introducing us to some of their new people as well. And then tomorrow, you will see, and in your packet is some maps of the city. Tomorrow, Community Pride Days, it's citywide cleanup. So the high schoolers will be out at Mount Pisgah Cemetery cleaning up, and then the grade school, K through 6 or K through 8. K through 6 will be cleaning various streets in town. So if you look at that first map council in there, you see that they'll be cleaning on Galena Avenue, Pikes Peak Avenue, Bowden, Eaton, Carr, Masonic, C Street, and Thurlow. And they'll be going clear from C Street all the way over to 5th Street, so that's quite a bit of cleaning. And then, of course, then this weekend, on the 21st and 22nd, is the citywide cleanup, where the dumpsters will be out at Public Works, as well as if you have items that you're not able to get out to Public Works, if you'll call them, and I think you got to call them before such and such a time.
By 5 o'clock Friday.
By 5 o'clock Friday, they'll make arrangements to come by your house, like if you have, will they pick up washers and dryers and stuff?
Washers, dryers, couches, large items.
Okay. And there are certain items that we don't accept out there, right? Mr. DiCamillo, Public Works Director?
No tires, chemicals, paints, electronics, we can no longer take TVs, computers, any of that. And batteries.
Okay. All right.
All the stuff you need to throw away.
All right, thanks, Steve. And then next Tuesday, the 24th, is hopefully what is going to be a continuing thing with the city, and it's Adopt a Block and Highway Cleanup, and that's the second map you see in your packet, Council. And so residents, businesses, and city staff are involved, and we're going to clean up a lot of the city. I mean, we've had individuals, we've had the Southerly County EMS pick, Bronco Billy's has picked quite a bit. We've had several individuals and families pick up one or more blocks. City staff will be cleaning the three main accesses into the city. We'll have city staff on Highway 67 coming into town from Divide. We'll be doing from the Heritage Center down to Carbonate, and then we'll have city staff doing from the city limits, going out to Victor, coming into 2nd Street, or coming into, I guess, as far as Masonic.
Warren, I think.
Yeah, Warren. Yeah, because Bronco Brothers is picking up that little block there, and then we'll have, coming in on Teller 1, we'll have city staff from the down in that dip where they're welcome to Cripple, where the city limit sign is, coming all the way to B Street. And so, and then we've got somebody signed, well, we've got an individual signed up to do Galena as well as several other blocks, but we may put city staff on Galena, because if you look from Hayden, which is the top of Galena, where 3rd Street is, you go up to the water plant and you go down to Prospect, the ditch on the north side is just full of treasures. And Steve and I both noticed the basketball. I don't know who's going to get it first. So the city staff, we're committing city staff to do the entrances to the town this one time. We may do it again this summer. We're going to do all this cleanup, initial cleanup, before the tourist season starts. And we'll be picking up bags, trust me, we'll be picking up bags and bags of garbage. But then the other blocks that you see on this map, these people have committed to do it, I think, every 3rd Wednesday or something like that, every 3rd week or every 3rd Tuesday or every 3rd Wednesday or something, to go just kind of police their areas. So hopefully it'll catch on, and people just in general will be going around, they see trash, and maybe take a little garbage bag with you when you go for a walk and pick up some trash here and there. So that's what that's all about.
So is there a place at the beginning that people meet?
Yeah.
I mean, does the city provide bags?
Yeah, so the city is going to provide the bags and everything.
And pick up sticks.
Yeah, and so each group will have one of those grabbers, so if you get something you don't want to pick up, but we'll have gloves and bags. And so we'll be meeting for the Adopt a Block, which is on Tuesday. We'll be meeting at 9 o'clock at City Park, and we'll disperse from there. And then like for the long distance ones, the city shuttle will take city staff up to the Heritage Center and drop us off. And especially on that road, we'll probably hopefully have police service, alerting people that we've got people on the highway, because that can be kind of a treacherous area coming down Tenderfoot. But anyway, so we'll hopefully have some flashing lights there and taking care of that. And then we'll all be back at City Park at noon for a helper's barbecue. And so it's easier to get people to help if you feed them. We were going to give them tickets to the casinos, but food's a guarantee.
Ray, I think you had a question.
I can't hear. I can't hear you. Can I hear?
Yeah, if you want to move up.
I think the mic's on.
And your name is Marilyn?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Can everybody else hear me okay? Yeah, and I understand you have you're hard of hearing, but I'm about done speaking. But I guess the last thing I'd like to tie in on Dennis Peck's prayer is that this is National Police Week, and I think Mayor Brown would like to say just a few words about that.
Yeah, I'd like to say just a short piece about the history of National Police Week. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation which was designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that day falls as Police Week. Currently, tens of thousands of law enforcement officers from around the world converge on Washington, D.C. to participate in a number of planned events which honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. The memorial service began in 1982 as a gathering in Senate Park of approximately 120 survivors and supporters of law enforcement. Decades later, the event, more commonly known as National Police Week, has grown into a series of events which attracts thousands of survivors of law enforcement officers to our nation's capital each year. The National Peace Officers Memorial Service, which is sponsored by the Grand Lodge of the Fraternal Order of Police, is one in a series of events which includes the Candlelight Vigil, which is sponsored by the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, and seminars sponsored by Concerns of Police Survivors. National Police Week draws in between 25,000 and 40,000 attendees. The attendees come from departments throughout the United States as well as from agencies throughout the world. This provides a unique opportunity to meet others who work in law enforcement. In that spirit, the Fraternal Order of Police, D.C. Lodge No. 1, sponsors receptions each afternoon and evening during Police Week. These events are open to all law enforcement personnel and are unlike any experience anywhere. With that, Police Chief Rulo, would you like to come up?
Thank you, Mayor and Council, members of the community that are present this evening. It's really fascinating when you look at our own history right here in Teller County. We will celebrate Police Week with the Law Enforcement Memorial Celebration and Vigil at Memorial Park in Colorado Springs. And again, we call it a celebration because, there's a lot of festive things that go on to honor those that have served and the survivors of those that have served. We will be, again, honoring 8 members from Teller County that lost their lives in the line of duty. The past of Teller County wasn't so storied in a lot of cases. This really was the Wild West in a lot of cases, and 2 officers in Victor lost their lives. Goldfield was actually a municipality, and town marshal in Goldfield lost his life. We're talking toward the turn of the century. And again, most recently, Teller County lost to Deputy Brett Holloway. Guarding a crime scene, was assassinated basically at that scene by the perpetrator of an arson out in the county. And one I got to experience myself with then Sheriff Kevin Doherty, and that was a very, very difficult time for citizens here in Teller County. We're going to be honoring 4 Cripple Creek officers that lost their lives in the line of duty, and it's really quite amazing when you put it into context. There are a significant number of local officers that actually adorn that memorial. And then, of course, most recently in Cripple Creek, Chief of Police Morris Dolan lost his life in 1940. Here in Cripple Creek. So again, I thank you all, and I thank you, Mayor, for the honor Dennis, thank you, sir. It was a beautiful invocation. This has not been a good year so far. We've already lost 35 officers nationally. The alarming trend is the fact that most of those officers lost their lives to gunfire. Now, certainly we consider traffic-related on-duty accidents, line-of-duty deaths as well. That typically takes up a fair number of the officers who unfortunately lose their lives in the line of duty, but it seems to be getting more violent out there. And again, we can discuss, speculate. We'll save that for another time. But again, I think it's important that we acknowledge the service of those that don the uniform every day in small communities like our own and large alike. And again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, citizens of Cripple Creek. It's just great to be working in a safe, supportive community such as ours.
Thank you, Chief, and all the officers for Anything else, Ray? You all good? All right. Finance Director's report, Paul?
Good evening, Council. We do not have any budget transfer or expenditure request.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 1. Second reading of ordinance number 2016-03, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 18, Article 1 of the Cripple Creek Municipal Code relating to administration and adoption of codes. Oh, there's Jeff. I didn't see you by there. Jeff Kirk.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Mayor, are there any questions in reference to adopting this 2012 code?
I don't believe there is. Is there any public comment? Anybody got any questions for Jeff? I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2016-03 as written.
Second.
Vote.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Ashworth,
Yes.
Mr. Litherland,
Yes. That was easy. Thanks,
Thank you.
Appreciate your hard work. All righty. Agenda item number 2, update City Council on DOLA grant. Steve DeCamillo.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Just going to hit a couple of things real quick on this. In your packet was the grant from DOLA. We were awarded $835,616. And this is for the realignment of Teller 1 and the sidewalk or trail out to the Med Plaza and down C Street. In meeting with, or talking with CDOT, we do not think we can get any ground broke this year. We want to get this to bid so that by this time next year, we are getting after it. We will have ground broke, concrete going down. I do have a meeting set up. I was going to email you this, I just heard, next Tuesday with CDOT for an update for them. So we can keep things rolling, keep this moving forward, see what our next step is to make sure we stay on track and get this going. The one thing we did find in the documents, and this jumped out at Ray and I both real quick, was the end date for the grant. It is stated January 31st, 2017. We're not even breaking ground by then. I have talked to DOLA. They are sending me an amendment to that. So once we get that, then we can go out and we can sign the grant. But right now, till that's changed, we got to get that. I spoke with Lee. He had concerns about the insurance. We're going to spell that out in the bid, make sure that they understand about what's required insurance-wise for the contractors. And that's pretty much it right now. Any questions?
So what do we need to do to satisfy them to get the money?
Well, what we need to do, well, the way,
From DOLA?
what we need to do, the mayor will have to sign the agreement, and I guess once we have this date changed, then we'll bring one in.
Yes.
Hopefully we can have it ready for the June 1st meeting.
I called Clay with DOLA yesterday. I'm going to call him again tomorrow. I'm hoping to have this, yes, by the next meeting. I would like to have this ready for you to sign.
And so there's a couple of things, as I recall. I didn't read the whole document here. Hopefully, we'll get through it. But one of the conditions is, if you recall, when we did the presentation, one of the conditions they were recommending is that we secure those last couple right-of-ways that we need. So we'll have to get those secured. And then once we've got that, then the bids are, solicited, and then we go to award a bid. So DOLA they'll be informed of the award of the bids, as well as CDOT. And then what it is they don't give us a lump sum money. As we spend money, we turn invoices in on a monthly basis. That's why that end date is so critical. And we'll need to get that worked out. But that's not a big deal. Like he said, he's already talked to DOLA, in case you don't know, is Department of Local Affairs. It's state government. But we've got that worked out. It just was an oversight on their part.
Yep.
They understand that. And so hopefully next meeting, Steve will bring a slightly modified, it's on page 3, it's just a little thing right there. It says the end date. It shows January 31st of 2017. And so what we'll do is we'll try to move it out to the, more like January 31st of 2018 or March of 2018, something like that, is what we'll try to move it out
So,
to.
for clarification, are we looking to try to do this next summer? Or we're trying to...
Yes.
We were going to try to get some of it going this year. We figured that if we could do anything as a standalone project with this, would be the sidewalk down C Street. That would be the easiest part of, and that goes clear from Carr Street down to Thurlow. And we could get that done. And even if we split that out, we wouldn't lose really economies of scale. Now, if we tried to split up anything on going out Teller 1 with the road realignment or the curb and gutter and sidewalk, you want that all done at the same time. But it's amazing how, pick the right word, all the details that you have to go through with CDOT and other state governments to get your money. And then once we meet the requirements of DOLA and we secure the last couple right-of-ways, then we'll send a letter to the mine, and then they'll give us a lump sum check for their portion of it as well.
And I have been in contact with Universal
Land Services.
And he came out and walked it last week with me. I'm hoping to hear back from him, if not this week, at least something in the meeting next Tuesday.
Because that's something else. The state requires, CDOT requires that you use a third party and somebody approved by them to help you secure any land that you have to get. We just can't, Steve and I can't go out there and negotiate with the landowners and get what we need.
So we're looking at fiber optics out there too?
We're going to lay conduit for future fiber.
Is there fiber optics out there now?
The fiber at this time is in Teller 1. We are working with CenturyLink to reroute that and get it through the fairgrounds where our easement is for our water and sewer lines and get it completely out of our way.
That would be good.
So we've been meeting with them too, and Black Hills, and
It's a pretty good sized project.
it's,
It'll be good then when it's all done. It'll be nice.
yes.
Does anybody have any questions for Steve? All righty. All right, we're better and the rest is easy.
Yeah.
All right. Agenda item number 3, Notice of award, drinking water treatment improvement project, Dan's Custom Construction Incorporated. Ernie Du Bois.
Normally the director of water services would be here doing this, but he had a spaghetti dinner to go to tonight. So anyway, what this is, the page in there, it's strictly notice of award, and this part of the project, I mentioned it last meeting, that Mickey was putting out to bid the electrical controls portion of the project. So this portion of the project, it was put out to bid, we received several bids, we're accepting the lowest qualified bid. And the reason I say that, the original lowest bid came in with about a about a $70,000 portion of it. He forgot to put in the bid. So we disqualified that bid. Luckily, we really do review these things to make sure we don't mess up. So we're taking the lowest qualified bid, and you're just seeing the very top page of a 157-page document. And that doesn't include the specifications, which is another couple hundred pages. And since the contract has not been reviewed and signed by the mayor, I cannot sign this notice of award. And if you read this first paragraph, it says and this is to the contractor, it says you are notified that your bid dated May 2nd, 2016 for the above contract has been considered. You are the successful bidder and are awarded it. I can't, and the bid is for 300, where's 300? Yeah, 389,800. That's a little above my spending authority, and so, but it's not above the mayor's and the council's. And so that's why this needs to come to before the council to be considered. And this portion of the project, what it is, it's site improvements, including a manhole installation, some process piping, ultraviolet disinfection system equipment, a lift station pump installation, electrical connections, valve actuator replacement, and then so the next part that's being bid, it's out for bid right now, and there's a pre-bid meeting tomorrow on that. It has to do with the programmable logical controllers, the actual controllers for the system, the electrical controllers, and so that's what that's for. And you'll be seeing a similar thing come to you in the next several weeks when we get those bids in. So,
A lot of paperwork.
yay.
Is there any public comment?
So we need a motion from the council to allow the mayor to sign the notice of award.
Okay. I motion that we give the mayor the authority to sign the award for the drinking water treatment improvement project for Dan's Custom Construction Incorporated.
Mr. Ashworth?
Yes.
Mr. Roseland?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. Thanks for doing that, Ray. Okay. Well, folks, that's all we have on the agenda for tonight. Everybody kind of stay dry tonight. Have a good night. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought that
Are you going to be able to make it tomorrow?
No.
And I am in toward 10.
Yeah.